Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell, and with me, as always, is the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan, deep in the Buchanan Laboratory. Mike, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Trying to stay cool in this lovely Arizona heat.
What is it, like 278 degrees there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, it was a little cool here in South Carolina. Cool and rainy. It was in the high 50s, low 60s. I'm like, this is not right.
Sounds perfect to me.
No. I need the heat and humidity to come back. Hey, Mikey, what you got cooking down there in the laboratory, buddy?
Well, I thought I'd work on, pets. I don't know about you, Jody, but I have pets that will sleep through a tornado, sleep through the baby crying, not that I have one, but sleep through anything, not make noise. But then whenever I unwrap a bag of barbecue potato chips or whatever it is, it's like an RKO out of nowhere. They're instantly there. So I thought I'd make some soundproof potato chip wrappers. What do you think?
Oh, man, that's a great idea. You could expand that.
Really?
I know like several little old ladies that give kids candy in church.
Yeah.
And the kids are, open up the wrappers in church and their parents are like, shut up. That would go a long way to solve for trauma for children on Sundays.
That's a great idea.
Big church.
Yep.
Love it, man. That's great. What's not, what doesn't need to be soundproof is WWE. I don't know. I'm trying to make a transition there, and it just totally failed. But man, we need to talk about what's happening here. We are headed like right into Money in the Bank. It snuck up on us because of Saturday Night Main Event, where we saw like some of the most atrocious storytelling that I think I've ever seen. If we have more, could we have more ref bumps in John Cena storyline, right? I mean, he made the run in on Jay. He, setting up the tag team between. Thank goodness it's not the tag team between John Cena and Travis Scott. At least they put a non-wrestling, better wrestler entertainer with John Cena than Travis Scott and Logan Paul.
Right.
But we get John Cena, Logan Paul versus Uso and the returning Cody Rhodes. We're going to get that at Money in the Bank. And I don't know. First of all, I'm not crazy about the tag team match because, number one, you've got both world champions in the same match, and neither title is being defended at a PLE, which is a problem. I'm sorry, but it is. I don't care what story you're trying to tell. You could have put Cody Rhodes with anyone and had that Gunther Jey Uso match on the PLE. But no, we get a tag match with Cody Rhodes and world champion Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and world champion John Cena. Seems a little ridiculous to me. And quite frankly, I think the good guys are coming up short on this one. I think Cena and Logan Paul find a way to eke out the victory in this one.
Even with it being Rhodes' return pay-per-view match?
See, I think so. I mean, what's the value of a win for Uso and Rhodes? Like, what does that do to advance the storyline? At least with a win for Paul and Cena, you can continue the narrative that Cena knocked off Rhodes at WrestleMania. Now he's knocked him off in a tag match at Money in the Bank. He is the what's he call himself? The last true champion, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it kind of continues that. Now, I also wouldn't be surprised to see maybe an appearance maybe the final boss gets involved in that. Maybe that sets something up for SummerSlam. We'll see. That would make it very interesting, considering that The Rock and Jey Uso are family, and John Cena is apparently The Rock's puppet, according to, what was it, Elimination Chamber when it went down. I haven't seen The Rock since, so I'm not counting on that. But we'll see. I've got a feeling though that the heels come out on top, and the other thing that would do as well, it'll give Logan Paul a win in a big match that he hasn't had. He lost it. He lost it Money in the Bank. He lost it. I believe he lost at WrestleMania, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
It just feels like Logan Paul's been handed big matches and putting people over. So this will give him a victory there. It just kind of seems to make more sense to me. Then what else? We've got the women's Intercontinental title match. Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Did we already do this?
At least once.
At least once. Are we really doing this again?
Well, Lyra Valkyria made it personal. Started talking about Beth's husband. Said that he was the only thing talented that Becky was attached to. So, wow. Gotta let the cats fight.
Sure. Okay. Well,
you know how I feel about women, about ladies wrestling, Jody.
I know you do. At least Becky has that, because I'm not sure Lyra has even that. I could think of several other female superstars that could wear that Intercontinental strap and be a much better representative than her. But whatever. We'll see. I think I do think Becky Lynch probably gets the win here. I think we're going to have a hard time not having a Becky Lynch title of some sort, and right now she just doesn't fit into the title picture for the women. Speaking of the title picture for the women, we've got the Money in the Bank match, and as of the recording of this show, there are let's see, there are 2 spots left. And I know probably on SmackDown last Friday night, I don't know if they filled those 2 spots or not, or at least filled one of them, because this was recorded before that. But we got Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, who's making some waves in the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, and is that Julia Gulia?
Yep, that's her.
Julia Gulia from The Wedding Singer. Drew Barrymore is in the Money in the Bank. How about that?
Nice.
I think this is until I see the last 2 TBDs, whoever they're going to be. One of them more than likely is going to be Charlotte Flair. And I don't know who the other one will be. And I don't know which show they're coming from. But this is Rhea Ripley's Money in the Bank.
No?
Whose is it?
I hate to say this because I thought they were removed from my TV forever. Did you miss the Wyatt Silks returning?
No, I didn't miss it. So
it'd either be Bliss or it'd be the chick from Wyatt Silks.
Nikki Cross. No, I'd have a really hard time with it being Nikki Cross, because they haven't been on TV and she hasn't wrestled a match, I don't think, in a couple of years. So that would
2 words for you, as The Rock would, or as DX would say. I got 2 words for you. John Cena.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but John Cena and Nikki Cross are a far cry from one another.
Yeah,
and that doesn't say I'm not saying I'm better. And listen, I'm not putting John Cena up on a pedestal, okay? So that tells you what I think of Nikki Cross. I'd be okay with Little Miss Bliss, because I've always been an Alexa Bliss fan. And she has not officially aligned with the Wyatt Six, though. So that maybe that'd be interesting, but I don't know where they go with Rhea from here if she doesn't win Money in the Bank. That doesn't totally destroy her momentum and character. And I see you shrug your shoulders like, yeah. I mean, it's kind of how I feel too. But I mean, if we're going to talk stories, we're going to talk characters. Let's talk them, and let's talk about the men's, because on the men's side, we've got let's see, Solo Sokoa. He's not winning. We've got, hang on, LA Knight. Yeah, no. Seth Rollins qualified, and Penta. Penta will make for some high spots, some great moves. He's not winning.
I hope not.
You know, I hate to be that guy, but you know, until I see the final two, again, it's Seth Rollins' match to lose.
Well, you're probably right, but I'd like to see LA Knight.
I'd be, you know, I'd like to see it, but again, and not that this means anything, because WWE has not done well building anything up. There's been no build for LA Knight.
There's been no build for this pay-per-view.
Well, that's
true. Talking about Phoenix.
They're talking about Phoenix.
Pay-per-view. They're talking about Phoenix 2 nights later.
Exactly. They're talking about Jey Uso and Gunther in a world heavyweight title match on Raw, which Raw on Netflix has been awful. What a disaster that's been. And I won't even get into it because we don't have time, and maybe that's something we can cover next week, but it's been terrible. It's not a great experience. It's been a miserable failure, and they've got to get back on network television. Speaking of television fans, like other television shows, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Wrestling for Christ, Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, what happened last week, what's going to happen this coming week. So stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here. I believe it is our civic duty as Americans to explore space. So we need to go to Amazon and help Jeff Bezos turn more celebrities into astronauts. And in order to do that, you should go search for this book written by my good buddy Mike Buchanan. Feeling down? Look up. All right. So maybe it's not going to create more astronauts. I mean, are they really astronauts? But what it will do is it'll help Christians walk through this crazy, broken world. Feeling down? Look up. Get your copy on Amazon today. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. Now it's time for us to dive into the world of the WFC Wrestling for Christ and Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour. And Mike, we finally hear from the commissioner of the WFC, the Duchess. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the last few episodes, you need to go back. First of all, you need to go to our YouTube channel, Wrestling for Christ WFC, and watch those. You can also go to Falls Count Anywhere 323 and see all of the episodes of Falls Count Anywhere. But, you know, the Duchess has been revealed as the commissioner. If you're not familiar with the Duchess is none other than my wife. And it was 2 weeks ago now that she was revealed as the commissioner and aligned herself with the foundation. Things got heated with the foundation and myself. And we talked about it last week. The slap heard around the world. And, you know, she told me for weeks, Mike, said, the voice talent doesn't put hands on the wrestling talent. Well, I did. And as the authority of the WFC, she stepped in and said, not having it, not on my show. So, you know, I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is what happened after, when I was brutally attacked by the foundation. It wasn't that brutal, but I was still attacked. But this week on Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, the gentleman, yours truly, went out to the ring. And listen, I wanted to end what was started by the foundation. I called them out, but the Duchess came out and very quickly put me in my place. I am apparently not Pat McAfee. I'm not getting a match, Mike.
Well, I think you do better than McAfee if you're in there, but that's
I might can do better than McAfee if I have a few McAfees going in. You know, that's about the only way. But you know, it gave me the opportunity to reflect a little bit on what I said Saturday night and what was revealed, and the fact that Travis Roberts has been injured as a result of the attack on the gentleman. You know, when he delivered that stunner, a lot of years of beatings taken in the ring have come kind of to a head there, and his vertebrae in his back, a couple of vertebrae are pressing on some nerves. He's had some nerve damage there, some other issues going on. And I don't want to see that.
No.
As much animosity as we have with the foundation, as much of a thorn in my side those guys seem to have been over the last few months. No one wants to see anyone injured. And, I said Travis Roberts deserved it. He doesn't. Apologies to him.
And
hope recovery. What's that?
I said in prayers for a quick recovery.
Absolutely, prayers for a quick recovery, and a quick recovery, a full recovery, so he and I can square off in the ring. But we'll see. Other things, though, the Duchess had other priorities, like the Mad Dog Nathan Sawyer, who won a few weeks ago, won the brand new, minted, fresh out of the briefcase WFC Abundant Television Championship belt when he won the Television Turmoil Tournament. And apparently that didn't set well with the Duchess. And so she called him out and he wanted competition. Well, guess who answered? Jay Sean, the Ripper Evans. And I don't think it was who the Duchess was expecting to answer. But Jay Sean came out and said, hey, you want competition? I'll give you competition. And so next week, fans, Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, we're going to have a WFC Abundant TV title match between the champion, Mad Dog Nathan Sawyer versus Jay Sean Evans. You guarantee you the Ripper is going to be ready for that one. I got to say, I think Mad Dog retains here. He's been on a roll, Mike. He's been on a roll ever since we started this tournament, and has performed very well. And so I kind of doubt the Mad Dog's going to acquire that belt and then drop it.
Right.
He's going to do everything he can to hang on to it. In fact, Mike, all titles are going to be on the line next week. Next Saturday night, fans, you're going to want to tune in for this one. And it's Perfect Vision, the tag team champions. And this is another match set up by the Duchess. If the rumors are true, Mike, we're going to have to really talk about their opponents. And I'm not going to say who they are yet because everything is not confirmed. But fans, if it is confirmed and these guys show up this coming Saturday night on Abundant TV at 6 p.m. to take on Perfect Vision for the titles, we may be talking about new tag team champions. That's how good these guys are. Not only that, Mike, it'll also kind of give us some things to talk about, not only from a wrestling perspective, but also from a little bit of a theological perspective. Yeah, could be very interesting. So let's wait and see. Tune in Saturday night to see if this tag team shows up to take on Perfect Vision. And then, of course, you've got Shane Austin, our WFC world champion. We'll get to see Shane and Kenny together for the first time this coming week. I'm assuming Kenny will be with Shane as he defends his title against the throwback, Curtis Robertson. And Shane Austin has just been on a roll. He has been on a tear, Mike. I mean, there's nobody that has slowed him down. We haven't heard a peep out of the Carolina Dreamer. I don't know where Dreamer's gone. But he was hot after Shane Austin and nothing. And I think that just speaks to Shane Austin. I don't know anyone that's going to step to Shane Austin and really give him a challenge, but Curtis Robertson's going to get a shot this Saturday night. So we'll have to see. I got to believe that my guy Shane Austin hangs on to the title. Me and Shane, Mike, we have that kind of relationship. It's kind of a
you're tight.
Well, it's kind of a hate relationship. He hates me and he hates me some more. It's tough love, man. But that's just who Shane Austin is. I mean, he's just he's a quiet, straight to the point, tough dude. And that's why he's champion. So all of that coming up this coming Saturday night on Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour. So much to cover there, but fans, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break because coming up right after the break is our absolute favorite part of the show, and that's Finding Tomorrow. Stay tuned. Wrestling for Christ headed to Maggie Valley Fairgrounds in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, June 14th. Heavy metal Rick Savage will be on the card, and what he's saying is his final wrestling match of his career. This is not something you want to miss. The Spirit of America celebration, live Wrestling for Christ, Maggie Valley, June 14th, bell time at 11 a.m. Be there.
Welcome back, Falls Town Anywhere fans. As Jody said, we're about to start our favorite portion of these shows where we talk about how we can help you find tomorrow. And Jody and I were talking about what to speak on for this portion before the show and during the break. And we've talked about it a little bit before, but it's one of those lessons that doesn't hurt to remind people of, especially men. And that's the dangers of when men try and be the Lone Ranger. And there's just not a safe way to do it. I mean, even Clayton Moore, the original Lone Ranger, had Tonto. That usually worked. But we're not the Lone Ranger, but we need a Tonto. A silver horse might be fun too, but we still need another man that can back us up.
Wait a minute, was the horse silver or was the bullet silver? Now I'm thinking of Barney Fife, I think.
Dude, concussions. Anyway, a prime example of that actually comes from nature, and Peter mentions it. In 1 Peter 5:8, he says, "Be sober and be vigilant. For your adversary, the devil, roams about seeking whom he may devour." Now, I'm an animal person. I like to watch nature TV for animals. And when you watch lions even, the king of the beast rarely hunts alone. Mm-hmm. And the lion, when he is alone, doesn't hunt much. But what the king of the beast will do is find the weak or the isolated animal in a herd, whether it be gazelle, wildebeest, or whatever, and they will attack that animal. But they attack in packs usually. And that solo animal doesn't have a choice, doesn't have a chance, I should say. And that's what happens whenever we try and be an island unto ourselves, as somebody once said. So, and I know Jody's come up with something he's learned a while back too.
Yeah, Mike, I love that analogy though that you just used, because I heard something, a couple of weeks ago that, or may have actually been Saturday night during Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour during Pastor Michael Rice's sermon at the event. He said that, hey, there's only one devil. He can't be everywhere. He is not omnipresent. He is not omniscious. He can't be everywhere, but there are demons. And so when Mike talks about the lion hunting in packs, demons tend to do the same. And if we as men especially, but even just as any Christian, if we isolate ourselves, if we pull back from society, if we pull back from our church, if we pull back from our family and friends, we have become very vulnerable to attack. And it's not a good place to be. As Mike said, the antelope, the wildebeest, whatever's being hunted stands no chance. And, you can put on the full armor of God and you can fight the brave fight, but you should never fight it alone. And that's probably, as Mike said, that's one of the things that I learned. I'm reminded, Mike, of Proverbs 11:14, where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. See, isolation will cut us off from wisdom and perspective and prayer warriors. And without that input, you may just find yourself in harmful behaviors and fall into wrong kinds of thinking. And it doesn't necessarily mean, what we immediately go to. People think, oh, they've isolated themselves. They must be, turning their back against God, or they may be drinking, or they may be falling into some kind of porn addiction or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything that dramatic. It can simply be a loss of confidence. It could be simply that you've lost your value that God has placed upon you as a child of God. And it's easy to listen to the lies of the demons and that whisper in your ear that tell you you're worthless. And without counsel, as the proverb says, men fall. And that can happen very easily. And so we have to guard against the comfort in being alone. And I get it. I've done it, Mike. I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
When you pull away from people, no one can hurt you, so you think.
Right.
There's no one there to tear you down. There's no one there to tell you that you can't do your job well. There's no one there to tell you that you're a terrible husband or that you're a terrible father. There's no one there to tell you that you're a terrible person. People don't hurt you. People don't stab you in the back. They don't lie to you. They don't deceive you. But guess what? When you isolate, guess who else you're isolating from? The people that lift you up. The people that you learn from, the people that give you wisdom, the people that pray for you, the people that give you advice, the people that give you counsel. So isolation can be a very, very dangerous thing that men especially, but I think everyone can fall into very easily. And look around. Look around. When's the last time you had a friend give you a call? When's the last time you called a friend? When's the last time you had 2 or 3 people in a room doing a Bible study with you or a prayer? When's the last time you sought counsel from someone? It's easy to fall into this isolation, Mike, and not realize that you've done it.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned the armor of God in Ephesians 6. And I don't know if our listeners understand how the Roman armor that's modeled after worked. The breastplate, the helmet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jody, do you know what's not mentioned being protected in that setup? Your back.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
You stood back.
Not necessarily stood back to back, but you're so close.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, sometimes they were back to back. You
Yeah.
knew that somebody was back there.
Yep.
That's what made it work.
Exactly right.
So that was a great reference there. And the other part, and this is the flip side, right? I've seen it happen often. People will be down, but no matter how far down they are, if they see somebody in need, they'll help somebody in need.
Mm.
However, if you've isolated yourself, you can't see anybody in need.
That's right. It's very true. And there's a lot of needs around us. And there are a lot of people a lot worse off than we are, no matter what your situation. And it doesn't matter if they're worse off or not as worse off as we are. If someone needs help, we should be willing and to provide whatever help we can, whether they're worse off or a little better off or whatever their situation is. So, you're right, Mike. That's a very good point. You can't see, you can't see the people around you. You have to remove yourself from your own line of sight. And suddenly I just realizing that isolation, it's a little selfish, isn't it?
It can be, but it can be necessary too at times. I mean, Jesus even had to walk off for a little bit and restore himself. So it's not always bad.
Not always bad. It's just like anything in everything in moderation, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
When it's needed, then, take a day, and like you said, I mean, Jesus took 40, right? But notice what happened when he did. The devil tempted him. So be careful when you isolate. Make sure that you're not Make sure that you're taking that mental health break that you need and not slipping into the isolation that you don't.
Exactly.
Mike, you know what we all need?
Stay tuned.
Besides prayer, yes, we need to stay tuned, because coming up next is Chris Whaley, Jeff Dixon, The Clash, right here on Abundant TV.